Welcome to my vlog. Today we are at Odense, which is the birthplace and the place where one of the greatest fairy tale writers, Hans Andersen, lived. And this whole town, it basically celebrates his life, his stories and his writing. I have now visited the hometown of several creative giants around the world, including Charlie Chaplin, William Wordsworth, Audrey Hepburn, and now Hans Andersen. And there's one feature that is common: they like to lead quiet lives in the lap of nature, away from the hustle and bustle of big cities, big towns. We just passed a big statue of Hans Andersen. His house and museum are located on the other side of the town center. I am also reminded of one of my favorite authors, Ruskin Bond, who lives in a small hill town Landor near Mussoorie in the hills of Uttarakhand. Even Khushwant Singh, another of my favorite authors, used to spend a bit of his time in Kasauli, in the hills of Kasauli. Clearly, there is something about nature, something about quietness and creativity. There is a connection there. Today is perhaps one of the best summer days in Europe. It is sunny, it is warm, the sky is clear, there is no wind, it's nice and green. Perhaps this is the kind of day that Hans Andersen himself stepped out of his house for a long leisurely walk and imagined some of his greatest fairy tales. The Hans Andersen Museum is quite interesting and interactive for both children and adults. There are definitely going to be stories that you have heard or read about sometime in your life. It is free for children under 18. Quite an experience to get an insight into the life of such a huge creative giant, the way he lived his life, his passions, his interests. And one thing that stands out when all the museums and artists that I've seen so far, they don't limit their interests to one field. They have a lot of lateral interests. They have art, literature, painting, sketching, science, travel. There are multiple interests, and all these interests, they contribute to their main creative fulfillment. This is the Hans Andersen street where the author lived. I'm sometimes asked, where would I like to live in Europe? The place I would like to live in Europe would be a small town, or probably a village, next to a mountain or a mountain range or a lake or a beach. I don't think European cities are worth living in anymore. They're congested, crime is high, they're not so clean anymore. On the way back, we had some difficulty in finding our car that we have parked in a small street. I have now downloaded the app that connects the car to the phone. Luckily, we had taken a photo near the car so we could track the location.